is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Limited Resources. This episode number 809. My name is Marshall, one of your Limited Resources, and joining me on the line all the way from Denver, Colorado, it's Luis Scott-Vargas. Luis, we missed you out at the PT. It's not the same without you.
I also missed going. I missed the Pro Tours. I'll be back at some point, assuming the Pro Tours are still going, which I hope they are.
Let's hope and assume. It was a very successful event. I mean, the MagicCon in Vegas itself was absurd. These things have reached a scale that I didn't think it would really get to this point ever. Like, they're just huge, so many people. But the PT is alive and well. Ken Yukihiro won it, and it was a really nice moment after he won. He just kind of broke down in tears, and it helps remind you, how important high-level competitive is played to so many people. It was really cool to see. Did you see how the top 8 was structured, Luis? It was crazy.
4 prowess, 4 mono red, opposite sides of the bracket, winner take all.
Never seen anything like that. We had literally all mirrors in the top 8 until the finals. It was which was guaranteed to be the prowess deck versus mono red. So yeah, it was actually a pretty quick day too, as you might imagine. Those were those decks go at it. But anyway, we're back, and the pro players weren't the only ones playing Magic while we were on it. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. Before we get into it, I want to say thank you to everybody who supports us on Patreon. It's patreon.com/limited resources. If you'd like to support the show, you get a thank you card and a sticker in the mail for doing so. And we really appreciate everybody who supports us over there. We're also supported by Ultimate Guard. They're the best in the business. If you need to protect your cards, your decks, your collection, they have you covered. They've got sleeves, deck boxes, binders, backpacks, all that kind of stuff to make sure that your precious and valuable Magic cards, and whatever kind of cards you collect, honestly, are protected and that you can play with confidence. They also use premium materials and have some of the best designs in the business. If you want to check out their products, you can go to ultimateguard.com. And if you want to buy any of them, you can go to your favorite online retailer or favorite local game store. Thank you, Ultimate Guard. We do appreciate it. A little bit off the top of my head here, Luis, but this next question is our Patreon question of the week, and it comes from Sebastian, who says, I was rewatching old Pro Tour games, and the commentary is often as memorable as the games themselves. For example, when I show non-Magic players Randy Buehler's Lightning Helix call, they immediately get it. The excitement is palpable. So, since Magic players love rating things, who do you think are the top 5 GOAT in-game commentators? There's a lot of great ones to choose from. So I changed the question a little bit for Sebastian, and I came up with admittedly off the top of my head, but these are, standouts or whatever, list of color commentators. So I'm probably, between me and Cedric, we're like the most qualified.
You could just say it. You're the best play-by-play. It's okay.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about being.
I know you weren't going to, but I'm telling you.
Well, thank you. But yeah, that is not what I was going to say. That is for other people to judge. But for color commentators, that's the expert seat, if you will. I am me and Cedric
also sits in that seat.
Are the two who probably have worked with the most people. And so I'm not going to list. I had an interesting one that I had come to mind. It's not actually best color commentators, although some of these people are the best also, because being a color commentator is actually a mix of many things. Expertise is a very important piece of the puzzle, but enthusiasm, personality, the ability to work with the play-by-play commentator and create a narrative and a story, knowing when to get out of the way and when to be vocal, all of these things play in as well. But I wanted to focus on that first thing that I mentioned, which is the people who are able to translate very complicated lines of play, deck building decisions, things that are happening in the game on a subtle level into quickly assimilate all that stuff and answer questions. I'm going to leave Paul off this list because he's like the GOAT. I mean, I've worked with him for a long time, and I think that he has the highest on all of those things that I just mentioned. So he's not going to be eligible, but everybody else is. And these are the people that this is the way that I view it. And I always have, Luis. is when I'm in the booth with somebody is how hard of a pitch can I throw them? Right? Because there's a big no-no when it comes to being in the booth or any type of live commentary, which is that you never want to ask somebody a question that they don't know the answer to, or at least can't, formulate an opinion on in the moment. Because if they just don't know, then they look dumb. Right. Horrible, and you're the one that put them on the spot, and then you look dumb for doing it. And now your whole booth loses credibility, and you really want to try to avoid that at all costs. So you have to really understand the capabilities of the person next to you. And, many of the questions that I ask in the booth, I know the answer to, or at least I think I do. But there's a few people, and these are the people on this list, who I can ask really any question I want, whether I know it or not. And I know that I'm going to get a nice home run back in my direction. So I've got 2 honorable mentions, and they're mainly for people that I worked with a little bit, but not too much. First one is somebody who I saw this weekend for the first time in many years. It was Paulo Vitor Damarosa. And Paulo, he's GOAT tier, like as a player, but as we know, that does not necessarily translate to skill in the booth, but it does for Paulo. I can ask him anything I want and he will smash it back, very succinctly too. He has a way of simplifying complicated things that I was really impressed by. The other one is Brian Kibler. He's a 2-time PT champ, so you'd expect him to have some real chops, and he's got a big personality. He's got his commander stuff. Yeah. So he kind of brings all those things, but when it comes to like raw horsepower, he really brings it. Seriously, like I never
great personality for the booth. Like
yes.
I mean, there's a reason he's a full-time content creator and a massive one at that. I mean, he knows how to talk behind a camera.
He does, but he's got the goods. Like I don't have to. Like he's not just personality. I actually can ask him whatever I want, and he will see the game and be able to break it down. So those are my honorable mentions. I'm not going to do these in order, but I do have 5 picked out. First one, you, Luis Scott-Vargas, definitely. I mean, all-time GOAT tier commentator, because you do have that rare mix of personality plus the thing. But I mean, there's never, ever been a question that I've asked you that I've even hesitated for a minute to think that you wouldn't, be able to come back with something great. And I remember one of the very first times, yeah, speaking of great, one of the very first times you and I were in the booth, you made a really good call. And I said, hey, I said, oh yeah, good call on that. And you said, great call. I was like, oh my, I am in for it.
The Mox in San Francisco. We were watching those guys play. It was one of the first times we'd been in the booth together.
It was. I'm like, okay, I guess this is going to be like this forever. And I've been in the booth with you a lot. So yeah, you're definitely on the list. Next, William Huey Jensen.
He's on my list.
Yeah. I could not get a pitch past Huey. He is ahead on thinking of all of these things. Huge horsepower, sees all the lines, is ahead of every question I'm going to ask. And there's no question that I wouldn't feel comfortable asking him. Next, Paul Rietzel. I also didn't get to work with Paul that many times, and I wasn't sure how interested he would be in commentating. He's kind of all business when it comes to playing Magic. And, I was a little surprised when he took a couple of jobs working with us. But I was really blown away. He was professional, courteous, and all that kind of good stuff. He was, pretty good on mic and all that. But man, the skill that I really like is when you can take something really complicated and succinctly answer, hey, this is what's actually going on here, for people that aren't going to be able to, sit there and work through every tiny detail. Also, another skill is not getting lost in the weeds. That's a big one too, where, it's very tempting as Magic players to get down some rabbit hole about some niche interaction, but it's like, we need to keep it kind of bigger picture than that. And Paul was really, really good at that. Next, Efro, Eric Froelich. Yeah. Same thing. Like seriously, like just a different type of brain, you, Luis, Efro, Huey, just it's the kind of thing where you're just like, how in the world did you process that? Like, I thought I processed that quickly, like we're way ahead of where the audience is at. And somehow you're just like 3 steps beyond it already. I never, ever was able to stump him. I never felt for even half a second like like there was any question I could ask him. Last one, Monty DeVuti. I got to work a couple of rounds with Monty, who's currently a commentator for us at the PT. And the interesting part about Monty is that he's like the only not Hall of Famer on this list, right? Like Monty's a very good Magic player, but he's not, Luis, Huey, Efro, Kibler, Paul, he's not on that level, right? But he is excellent at being able to process information quickly and present it in a succinct way. There was a moment that we had when Paul wasn't commentating and I was in the booth with Monty for a while, and we had a really interesting position where there was a very complicated board. It was happening pretty quickly and somebody attacked with everything. And Monty was like, that's lethal. And it was like, there was a lot going on and he's like, nope, he's got him. That's it. And it was like, okay. So as the play-by-play commentator, I need to trust him and play off of that. So now I'm ramping it up. Well, chat starts going nuts and saying that Monty missed something, that he wasn't right, that, oh no, it's not lethal, it's this, that, or the other thing. And I'm kind of got half an eye on chat and half an eye on Monty. And, and Monty saw the chat too, and he kind of responded and he was just like, no, it's lethal. Like, he's just like, I got like he had confidence in his read. He didn't go, oh, let me recount. He's like, no, it's lethal, and he was right. And it was like, I've been in that situation before where I've said something on air and I've seen chat disagree with me. And usually when they do, they're actually right? Like I missed something, because if there's 10 people saying it's more likely, trust me, I've experienced plenty of chat lethal as well. But sometimes I'll miss something and they'll say it and I'm like, oh, okay. But Monty, not even a hesitation at all. And always been really impressed by him too. So there you go. There's your long answer to your Patreon question of the week. Thank you, Sebastian, for that. So the first thing that I want to talk about is kind of interesting, Luis, because it doesn't have anything to do with like the PT or the, draft format or anything like that. It was the Arena Direct from this weekend, which, these have been around for a while. I've never played in one. The structure never really enticed me. Like I like playing for stakes. My favorite things are the Arena Opens. Like I look forward to those. Those are like my pro tours, if you will. It's like the highest stakes thing I ever get to play in. And so I love those. And I love the format that they finally settled on, where it's sealed into draft. But the Arena Directs are these ones where you can play a sealed and you have to go, at least this week, and I don't know if it's always been the case, Luis, but you have to get 7 wins before your second loss. They're very punishing.
Yeah. I thought that maybe one of them was at 6 wins at one point, but I could be totally wrong. Either way, it was 7 wins before your second loss.
Yeah. And you buy in, and then the prizes for these are always sealed product, like boxes of cards. And the problem that I've always had is just that, like, I don't really want boxes of cards. Like, I appreciate that I could just sell them and stuff, but even that's like an extra hassle. Well, I gotta sell these cards. What do I gotta put them on eBay? I gotta do the whole thing. And so it was less enticing to me to play in them. And also they're just sealed, which I enjoy sealed, but the sealed can vary a lot by format. And so
we had a sealed format recently that was really bad.
Really bad. Remember one we both just hated? It was like 2 sets ago.
I at this point I don't remember, but there have been some sealed formats that have been just like pretty miserable to play.
Totally. And so these things have kind of combined to make me just not really ever figure it out and when those things were and jump in and do them. But this weekend was different. This is a great little microcosm of when incentive structures just get kind of flipped on their head. So as everybody knows, Final Fantasy is out and it's extraordinarily popular. I heard from some people said this wasn't quite true yet, but whatever, that this is basically the best selling set ever already. It certainly is going to be. If it's not, it is a smashing success financially. And one of the products that they come out with each of these sets are the collector booster boxes, right? These are the ones that they're not really meant to be drafted, and they have special editions of all the cards, foils, and alternate stuff. And you can get some crazy stuff in them too. Some of the super limited print run stuff. is available in these things. And, you know, I've never been interested in these. I'm not a collector like that. I don't have like a collection. I have some cards that are meaningful to me, but they're not, you know, I don't collect cards. I couldn't give a crap about foils or alternate art stuff or any of that stuff. So, and these things are expensive. You know, the collector booster boxes are quite pricey. So I've never even cared about that at all. But the Final Fantasy ones are the ones that you would have won for the Arena Direct this weekend. And they are going for a premium, like a significant premium. For example, on the sales floor down at the MagicCon in Vegas, the vendors, you know, they have all the vendor things. They were buying those boxes for $1,050 each, and they were selling them for about $1,200. So immediate flips, like they would just give you $1,050, take the box, and within a few minutes, they would already have it sold to somebody for, you know, $1,200 or whatever. And that was the price for the Arena Directs this time. So, you know, call it $1,000 per. It's about $40 worth of gems to enter one of these things.
Yep.
So
8,000 gems, you get 20,000 gems for $100.
Right. So like you only need to win. How much is that?
Well,
1 in 25 or something?
1 in 25. But my assumption is that these boxes will be worth quite a bit less once the Arena Open or the Arena Direct hits.
So I asked that, and the people that I asked who weren't experts, but they were kind of around this more, they said that they did not anticipate that. They said it may be worth more by then.
Oh, I was operating under the assumption that I would be able to sell these boxes for around $700 to $800.
I thought the exact same thing.
That's what I thought. If you're telling me it's more, that's great.
Yeah, I'm not, but they
upside.
did. And they seem to kind of have a sense for this stuff. So we'll have to see. But anyway, when you...
Oh, we will see.
And we will see. Because when you flip, you know, the incentive structure on any tournament like this that far on its head, it creates weird dynamics where like, for example, I was working the Pro Tour and we do every other round, right? So we get one round off and then we're in for the next round. And normally I'll work on one of my videos or chat or hang out. You know, you just kind of rest your voice and get ready for the next round. Well, I wasn't. I was playing these events.
I was, because I was playing too. I mean, we'll get into the numbers, you know, in a second here, but I messaged you and Paul midway through the day. I'm like, how's it going, guys? How's the PT and all that? And you're like, yeah, we've each won 3 boxes. Like, I was like, Jesus, 3 boxes already? Like, you guys are working all day. Like,
yeah.
Granted, my weekends are pretty busy too. I got a lot of wrangling, you know, but but still, I was impressed. You guys kicked ass.
Yeah, we were kind of killing it early, and you know, like for example, on Saturday, me, Paul, and Cedric, we just stayed at the event site, like in the back. We stayed there till like 10:30. Like normally we get out, we got off at whatever, 6 or 7. We go eat dinner and go hang out. And we were just on our computers grinding. It was fun. Like we were, kind of keeping each other updated, high-fiving. If
playing
we got
Magic
there.
for Stakes.
Yeah.
Playing Magic for Stakes is so fun. And you guys in the coverage bracket now get a lot fewer opportunities to do so.
Totally.
And so it's obviously super cool. If I was there, I would have probably been doing the same thing.
Yeah. So, and there was another thing that happened there too, Luis, that was similar, which was they were running drafts. Like, I guess it was like a higher stakes draft is what the idea was. And it was wild. So this is the structure for the drafts. It was $100 to buy in. So 8 players, $800 total buy-in. First place at this got 2 of those boxes, the ones we're talking about, and second place got 1. So what people were doing is they would buy in, they would play 1 round. If they won it, all 4 of them would take the boxes over to the dealer, get them sold and split up, and they would get about $800 each for winning a round. And then they would try to do it again. Eventually they got smart to it and they limited it to 1 per day and then they ran out. But if I was there, I would just be trying to get back in that line every single time because that's a little like $3,150 worth of prizes for 8 people. The overlay is just crazy for that. But anyway, it was really, really fun. And it felt like there was something in the air, with getting to play all those things. I ended up doing, I didn't count how many, but I would say 16 to 18 total runs. But the thing is, you get some amount of gems back for deeper runs. Like you had to get to 3 wins to get some gems back. And then I think it was 4 wins. You broke like just slightly less than even, if that sounds right. Or maybe it was 5. I can't remember. But yeah. And I had a couple of really close ones. I had a couple of 6 and 2s as well, mixed in there. And those get you quite a bit of gems. So like, I would guess that my total buy-ins was probably like $100 or something. Like it was not that much overall. And I was pretty comfortable in the sealed format as well. I ended up winning 4 total. The funniest one was the last one, Luis. I was in bed after a pretty long day, and I just was trying to like finish up a run, but I was like playing, and then I would just like immediately just like play. You know, I was just like trying to get through my matches or whatever. And I won the round, and then I'm like, okay, come on. And I thought I had one more round to go, but I didn't. It was for the box, and I just didn't know. So like, I didn't get the full sweat equity out of it because I was just like, next game. And then it was like the little thing moved over and it was like, you won a box. And I'm like, oh, wow. Like I am really tired, I guess. I did actually like totally degen it up and do one more after that too, which was like 100% the bad idea entry. And I lost the first round, and it kind of felt like a gift from God. You know, it was like,
yeah, you're just like, okay. I get it.
I can go to bed. Yeah. How did it go for you?
I think I did a little bit more than 20 runs, probably like 21, 22 in that range. And I won 4 boxes. So
nice.
You know, I'm no Marshall or Chion, but I did okay. I thought it was a blast. Like, well, it was not only cool because obviously it was really fun winning these prizes and all that, but the sealed format was good. So
it is.
I think I played blue. Blue was one of the more common colors you play just because a lot of the blue cards are really good in sealed, and blue is just pretty good in this format. But like overall, this was a pretty balanced format. There's no color that I'm like, oh, I never played. Like some sealed formats, it's like you never play green or you never play white. Well, most common white and red are like the 2 least good colors in sealed because of their aggressive themes don't always translate. I feel like I played every single color combination like many times over the course of it. And the games were pretty fun. Obviously the bombs are big, and like, you know, it's not like you aren't running into like kind of normal sealed things in that regard. But overall, I thought the whole thing was just a blast.
I did too. The sealed format, I played I won with a bunch of different types of decks, for sure. The one that stood out the most to me, cause I didn't have much experience with it for draft, was black, white. And, I had like a weird setup with a kind of a go wide strategy where like I had the 4 mana make 3/1/1s, and I had the 7 mana make 3/1/1s and put +1/+1 counters. And I had the rare that like doubles your creatures and makes them indestructible, or, you know, you get the 1/2s with lifelink and it makes them indestructible. Yeah. And then I had like a summon Chocomog or something to like pump them up. And I was like, well, this probably isn't going to work, but I'll try it. And it did. It was interesting. You know, everybody plays all their spot removal. And the first time somebody plays Sephiroth's Intervention on your 2/2, you're like, okay, I'm doing something right here, you know, because they can't deal with a huge board. It's kind of sweeper or bust, you know, and that deck was able to do that. Yeah, but most of them were more of the slower controlling, kind of fixing and big stuff, you know, type decks.
I mean, I think like that was pretty typical, but I had like some good blue-red decks. I one of my boxes I won with just like a blue-white low-curve artifact deck. Like you could definitely get these things going. Yeah. I just got enough of the cards that kind of worked for that. And I just feel like it ended up just working out nicely where it was like a good sealed format. And obviously the prizes are fantastic. That's clearly part of it too, you know. Mm-hmm. It just overall was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's funny. It was nice to win those prizes, but like, it just felt cool to have something matter.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
it's like you don't care that much even about the prizes themselves. More, it's just like, hey, this was really fun to play, and the prizes make it fun. I mean, it's all part of the same thing, you know.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll keep an eye on those though, because if they do it again where there's like, I get it that Final Fantasy is kind of a special thing and it's not going to be like that again. But like, you know, even if it's remotely close, this opened my mind to the Arena Directs for sure, you know, as a more fun thing to do.
all it has to be is you have to care about it. For some people, that's just joining a normal arena draft or an arena quick draft. You know, for some people, they need an arena open. They need a little bit more juice to get the feelings flowing. But like, if you care about the arena directs and they feel like a meaningful prize, then yeah, they're a ton of fun.
Yeah, I'm just going to end up with a bunch of boxes, aren't I, Luis? Just stacked up.
Oh yeah.
Okay, what do you want to talk about next?
So, I mean, I've been drafting the format. I mean, I guess I played more sealed this week than draft, but I have a bunch of cards I wanted to talk about that are. We didn't do any cracker packs.
Oh yeah, let's do our cracker packs. That is
Jeff.
You know,
there's a slacker pack here.
Yeah, let's blame Jeff. I like that. That is definitely the right idea. He
can't say anything, so
yeah, he didn't remind us. Of course, let's do cracker pack. So our first cracker pack, our first card out, Grave Titan. It's called Summon Fat Chocobo. Maybe you've heard of it.
Great. Summon Fat Chocobo is good. I would ideally not be first picking this card, but it is a good card.
It is quite strong, yeah. Laporit Scout or Laporit Scout. Never played it. Probably never will. Blazing Bomb.
Blazing Bomb is pretty good. I think that Blazing Bomb is surprisingly strong. It's just a 1-mana play that's going to trade for like a 2 to 3 mana play most of the time. I mean,
it usually does, yeah.
I'm assuming that your deck has some 4-mana spells. If your deck doesn't, then this card gets a lot worse. But I have not been cutting this from my red-blue decks.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'm a little down on it compared to you, but not by a lot. Next, these are in a little bit weird order, but that's okay. Red Mage's Rapier. This is the job select 1 in a red, and the thing gets +2/+0 when you cast a
this one I'm not super impressed with.
Me neither. The bar isn't that high for 2-mana job select, but the fact that this doesn't do anything to it unless you start doing the thing is kind of enough to keep it out. Keykern Merchant. You'd think that I would like a card like this, but it's just been too slow.
Yeah, I also haven't found this one to be great. I mean, it has some amount of value, and I've had some decks where you sack it to draw 3 cards, paying 3 mana, and that's pretty good. But overall, the whole package you're getting here is just not enough.
Next card is funny. It's rare that I found a card that made me feel so wronged when somebody got value off of it, which is Prish's Wanderings.
Oh yeah,
the one that searches up a land and puts a counter on your creature.
Block their 2/2 with your 2/2, and they cast this, and there's just no way to.
It really feels bad
to do anything.
It's come on, what did I do to deserve this? Next, Magic Damper. That's the blue instant target creature you control gets +1/+1 and gains hexproof, and you untap it. I did get kind of nailed by this in the sealed one time, but I'm I'm not going to stoop down to play Magic Damper.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's a card that I think is worth playing. The threshold for me to play this card is I want 2 really good things to protect and then a decent amount of other stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's hard when spells like this are up against the cards that have tiered, right? Where it's this just does the one, there's no big late game application for this that changes things significantly. It's just the same card all the time. Where many of the tiered cards, they really do grow with the game in a meaningful way, and they don't punish you much for having that extra ability. When you play Thunder Magic, it's not like you're thinking well, I'll give up all this power for the flexibility. It's kind of nah, you just get both. So cards like this suffer a little in that world. Our alternate bonus sheet card is Light Up the Stage.
I mean, it's a playable card. It's not a card I have not put it in my deck, and I've had the opportunity to draft it before. I felt you don't really want this.
By the way, this does remind me the 2 drafts at the PT. One of them was Matt Nass, by the way, but really funny. They both of our featured drafters, day 1 and then day 2, I think it was Christian Baker the second day, they both drafted Gruul. After we were saying it's the only color pair you kind of want to stay away from. It was funny.
No, it's true. And Matt texted me, texted our Denver group chat, and he's like, I don't think I drafted a very good deck. And he, in fact, did not.
Yeah, I think he 1-2'd with it. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Matt had a tough PT. He went 1-2 to start, got up to 8-3 after 3-0ing the second draft and having a good constructed record, and then finished 8-8. So,
oh wow, that is rough.
Him and BK both had 0-5 runs. BK has just started the tournament that way, so he didn't progress past that.
So BK was more time efficient than Matt.
He was more efficient in that sense.
I got a chance to chat with BK, by the way. That was nice. Okay, uncommons. First one up is the Crystals Chosen. This is that one I just mentioned. It's the 5 white sorcery. You create 4 1/1s, and then you add a +1/+1 counter to each creature you control. If you're in the market for 7 mana, this card gives you 7 mana worth of stuff. It is a game changer when it hits battlefield. Yeah,
I have liked this card. It feels like most white decks you're able to like get this down with like 2 other creatures in play and just get pretty much all the bang for your buck that you wanted out of a 7 mana card.
Yeah,
it's really good with a white Aura Sight as well as a way to cast it.
Oh, to turbo it out.
Yeah, just get to 7.
Totally.
Like,
yeah, because
not even turbo. It's just 7. 7 is just a lot of mana, regardless.
It is, and we've talked about that a lot. There's a very big gap between 6 and 7. If you look at average number of turns between each of the land drops, 1 to 2, the average number of turns is like just above 1 because sometimes people miss their second land drop, but almost every time people hit their second. So that would be like a gap of 1 turn. And then the more land drops you hit, the further that gap becomes. And one of the standout ones is between 6 and 7, which is about 2.5 turns last I saw between when you play your 6th land on average and you play your 7th. So getting down anything that can shore that gap, makes the Crystals Chosen like a much more attainable cost, especially since it is in white and typically kind of big, expensive things don't have a home in white, but it does fit here. Another uncommon we have is Summon Primal Garuda. That's the 3 and a white 3/3 flyer that does 4 to a tapped creature they control for chapter 1 and chapter 2 and 3. You give something +1/+0 and flying. Tell him to turn.
Garuda is solid. Like, I don't mind playing the card, but it is not. I think I like the Crystals Chosen more, but I really don't want to first pick either of these cards, to be honest.
Do you want to pick any of these cards? Like, none of these so far, right?
No, not really.
All right. Well, next is Elixir. It's funny. Yeah, it's a one-word name. You'd think like there's like another thing to say, but no, it's just Elixir or something. It's
the name.
Yeah, 1 mana artifact at ETB's tapped. Do I have to say ETB anymore? Can I just say enters tapped? Is the battlefield gone? Or is it?
Yeah. I mean, I think I don't think you need to say.
It just says
the battlefield's not gone. You just say enters. I think it's just more efficient.
Okay. When it enters. It enters tapped, and you can pay 5 tap and exile it to shuffle your non-land cards back in, and then gain life equal to the number of cards that you did that.
It's just not good. Like, I like this kind of card. I'm always like, ooh, maybe I can draft an all removal control deck, and instead of decking myself, I'll use Elixir. But this isn't like Clear the Mind, right? Back in whatever that set was. Mm-hmm. That was a card that you could draft a control deck and just cast Clear the Mind to reshuffle because the card is good enough. It's 3 mana and you draw a card.
Right.
Elixir's just too bad. Like, you just can't do that. It's not really a viable thing. I've even put Lab Maniac in multiple decks and mostly just had it not be good.
Okay. If you tried it and it didn't work, it's not going to work for me. So
I did beat Cheon in one of his videos with a Lab Maniac though, so that was like extremely satisfying.
Man, do you know how many people came up to me and Paul and were like, "Hey, I beat you in one of your videos." I was like, "All right, people do that." We have 2 rares, a regular rare and a mythic rare. The regular rare is Triple Triad, which is the 3 and triple red enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, each player exiles the top card of their library. Until end of turn, you may play the card you own exiled this way, and each other card exiled this way with lesser mana value than it without paying their mana costs. I still haven't seen anybody go off with this or make me convinced that it was the right thing to do.
I have found it to be decent in a red control deck. I had one of the sealed actually in the open or in the direct. I got to 6 wins, not 7 with it. And I've had a couple draft decks where it's good. It's a tricky card because it costs 6 mana and it's triple red and it does nothing the turn you play it. And it's not even like, as astute listeners pointed out, you're actually like way less than 50% to get to play 2 cards off it because ties you don't win. And a lot of times it'll tie.
Great point.
But in a deck with like Call the Mountain Chocobo and some good removal, like this is a legit 6-drop in some matchups, especially like you play like the Grixis Mirror and you get this thing down, or you play against black red, like that's going to be pretty hard. They can't get rid of it generally, and you're getting at least 1 extra card a turn. Plus, it's free if you when you flip a spell, you don't pay any mana for it. And when you get 2 cards off of it, it's a really big game. So, I think this card rightfully doesn't have a very high win rate, but I think you can draft a deck where it's good. I would almost never first pick it, but imagine in the middle of the pack, you have like a Thunder Magic, a Suplex, a Call the Mountain Chocobo, and like another blue card. I would be interested in triple triad in that kind of deck. Like that's the place where it fits.
Is it the mana cost that holds it back?
Well, I think it's both the mana cost and the converted mana cost. Like both the fact that it costs triple red and that it costs 6. So
okay, yeah,
you need this in play for like 3 turns before you're really doing it.
It's really
I mean,
tough. If
you have the miracle hit next turn, you hit a 5-drop, they hit a 4-drop. You're already there. But my experience with it is like next turn you play 1 card, next turn you play 1 card, next turn you play 2 cards, and you're like pretty well ahead. But it takes a couple turns.
Yeah, because this type of card is enticing in the sense that basically if you get it down, your whole game plan just becomes to make the game go longer. You will win eventually. The longer this is down, the better. But yeah, it is really, and also the other enticing thing is that it's enchantment, which is typically the most difficult type of permanent to get rid of, from just like a normal deck perspective. So there is some things to like, but man, expensive, doesn't do anything the turn it comes down. Like those are really, really tough. Our last one is interesting. It's Summon Knights of the Round. If you thought the Crystals Chosen was where you wanted to be, how about an 8-drop that does very similar? It has 4 initial chapters. By the way, it's a 3/3 indestructible saga creature itself. It's a saga knight. But chapters 1 through 4 are create 3 2/2 knight tokens. And then if you somehow haven't killed your opponent by the time you get to 5, they get like +2/+2 and something flying or indestructible or whatever. I can't remember.
I like this card. I had one really good white deck that had this with like, again, those aura sites and card draw, and it just kind of like put a bunch of crap on the board that eventually played this and won. I would be happy to take this card. It's a fun build around too. I think it's better than the Crystals Chosen, but it's a good card. It's not a bomb, but I think it's a good card.
Okay. Do you think it's better than the Crystals Chosen on win rate? Like if I looked it up?
That's a good question. My guess is yes, but
okay.
But
because I'm wondering about the 8 mana, because it's clearly a more powerful card overall. But it is interesting in that the Crystals Chosen actually gives you more upon casting and costs less. Obviously, after a turn goes by, all of a sudden, Summon Knights of the Round starts to kind of pull ahead. But I'm going to look it up. It's 56.2% for Crystals Chosen.
Yeah, and 59.2 for Knight of the Round. Okay. So that's a pretty significant. Like
that's actually
56
a lot
is
better.
A good card, and 59 is a great card. Basically, like solid, B+ level card or so. B to B+.
I'm a little surprised by that.
A C level card.
Yeah.
I'm not because I had the read, but
yeah, don't ever change. I know you won't.
I try not to.
Yeah. That said, my pick would be Summon Knights of the Round here. I like it as a ramp target. I like it as a finisher. I like it as a stabilizing play. And it's also just the sweetest card. So I would take Summon Knights of the Round out of this pack if I were drafting. What would you take?
I would take Knights of the Round as well.
Yeah, let's go. Although I was traumatized by it in the what's it called? The Arena Direct. I cast it and didn't win, and I just don't understand.
Yeah, when you cast an 8-drop, it feels like you just have to win. It's just like that's justice. Yeah,
and it was around for 2 turns, and I killed my opponent's flyer. No, I had it. I had all my bases covered, but they got me with the what is the Black Waltz number 3? I was at 2 and they cast it in a non-creature. I was like, oh.
Sure. Yeah, I can believe that.
Let's see. Next Track-a-Pack. First called up is Q-Trub for rare. I played actually a couple of these.
I'm still tilted about this. I was
sealed.
4-0 in my last Arena Direct run because at this point you couldn't even join anymore.
Oh, yeah. I did that one too, by the way.
And I lose around, whatever. I had a pretty good blue-red deck, and I lose around. It had double Jill, Shiva's Dominant, Choco Comet, all this stuff. I lose around because I don't play a third land. Sure, that happens. So I'm 4-1. And I'm playing against this black-red deck who I was pretty far ahead, but then they played Zodiark, the quintuple black creature, the god. But I'm okay. And I'm still feeling pretty good about the game. And I trade off, I'm able to lock that down with Stuck in the Summoner's Sanctum. And we get to the point where they have no cards in hand. I have no cards in hand, but I have a bunch of creatures in play, and I think I'm going to win next turn. Or they had one card in hand. They draw and they fire magic my whole board. Okay. Well, I'm still winning because next turn I play a creature, and my graveyard has Sorcerer's Secrets and Choco Comet, and I'm going to be able to next turn, because I played a creature this turn, next turn get back the Choco Comet, and the next turn just kill them.
Okay.
If I get one hit in with the creature. They cast a draw 2, and then cast Q-Trub Forager to exile my flashback card and my fireball. And I'm just I thought I was just a lock.
That's ridiculous.
For them to win this game, they have to deal with this creature in play, but also I just have a fireball that's gonna kill them, and they're not playing counter spells, but they had this stupid card, which is the only time I've ever seen the card go on the stack. So it's not a good card, but it definitely got me there.
That is brutal. So you're first picking it no matter what. I get it. You learned your lesson. Next is Combat Tutorial. Best divination ever.
Oh, it's fantastic. I love this card. And when you have this card, you just prioritize 2 drops, which you should be anyway, because if you get that turn 2, turn 3, it's good. But also just casting it on turn 7 and getting a counter on your Winddrake is great too.
It is.
So I again don't really want to first pick this card. My standards are higher than that, but Combat Tutorial is a very good card.
Yeah, it's a lesson that we've learned over and over, and we've said it on the show for actually a long time.
Top winning blue comet, actually.
Is it really? Okay, that's really impressive. But what I was going to say is a +1/+1 counter is a real thing. It looks like a throw-in, right? You're yeah, I guess I get a counter or whatever. No. It's the real deal. That is that actually is a big changing moment on a card when they tack something like that on there. Next, I love this one. Call the Mountain Chocobo, or is it Call the Mountain Chocobo? Legendary bird token.
It's we're never gonna know, but I do like this card. I would take Combat Tutorial over it. Pick one, pack one. But I like either of these cards. I'm pretty happy picking up this card early.
Blitzball?
Get some triple triad action.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What about Blitzball? You've been playing in Blitzball?
I was higher on it a week ago. I do think Blitzball is fine, but I think it's an okay card. There was a period where I had drafted a couple decks in a row where it was good, and I'm oh, this card's pretty good. I think it's okay. It's not amazing. It's not terrible. If you've got some legends, it's pretty good. If you need some fixing, it's good. I mean, it's all fine.
Yeah, you got to respect the Blitzball. Next is Precious Wanderings. We already talked about that. Next is Ice Magic. Cast a hell of a lot of these.
I do like Ice Magic. I still think you should probably start with Combat Tutorial over it at this point. Just it's such a powerful card, but I like Ice Magic a lot. It's great at 4 mana. It's totally solid at 2, and sometimes you cast it for 7 mana, I think is the total. I don't even know. Is it 8? Actually, it might be 8.
It's 8, yeah. I don't think I've
cast it once for that.
I think I did it once too. Yeah. I really want to have one of those 8 or more payoffs when I do it, but yeah. Next is Haste Magic. That's the one in a red instant. Creature gets +3/+1 and haste until end of turn you exile the top card of your library. You can play it until your next end step.
Unplayable. Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's hardcore.
Have you played it? Have you put this card in your deck yet?
No, come on. You know me. But
have you seen someone cast it against you?
Yeah, totally.
Was it good?
Isn't it a 2-for-1?
It can be.
Can be.
I just think the card is pretty bad, so I tend not to play it.
What do you think about Commune with Beavers?
Haste Magic is the lowest winning red common.
Okay, that's unplayable. I'm glad
Commune with Beavers?
I guess I should just be happy my opponents are playing against me, shouldn't I?
Commune with Beavers. So I think the card's fine. It's one of those cards you don't have room for as often because it conflicts with if you have a bunch of towns, you don't want a one drop. Like a one drop, the purpose of this card is to spend mana on a turn where you normally wouldn't to get a little bit of card selection. If I have a heavy green deck with a lot of creatures, which is a lot of the green decks, yeah, I'll play this card. But the thing I run into is my decks that have the most creatures are the black-green decks with like Final Days or Last Days, where I want literally all creatures because my self-mill wants to hit creatures, not commune with beavers. So I play the card, but I don't think it's particularly good or a high pick.
Yeah, it is not a foregone conclusion that I'm playing green, have a commune with beavers, and that I'm going to play it. It almost always makes it to the sideboard, if I can help it at all. Uncommons, Renoa Hearttilly, that's the 3 green white 4/4, and when she enters, you get a 1/1 legendary dog, and when she attacks another target creature you control gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each creature you control. Not been impressed by this one.
Well, I think the card is good. I just think green-white is one of the worst color combinations. So if I was green-white, I would be happy to take this card. And if I had like an inroads into it and I saw this card 5th or 6th, like you have 4 good white cards or something, then sure. But I'm not going to first pick this card under almost any circumstances.
Yeah, I think that's the problem for me is that I agree. Reading the card is like, oh, this is pretty solid. But like I'm almost never just straight green-white. I don't like that color pair. And I would never take this card early enough to have it in my deck. So I never have it. Next is Poison the Waters. That's the 1 in a black sorcery. Choose one. All creatures get -1/-1 until end of turn, or target player reveals their hand. You choose an artifact or creature card from it and they discard it.
Well, the best way to describe this card is I have had this card be awesome for me and awesome against me. I've also had it be terrible for me and terrible against me. The overall is like when it's good, it's pretty good, but when it misses, it's really bad. And it misses enough of the time that I don't think it makes up for, because when it's good, it's not you got a 2-for-1 even. You got a 1-for-1 and you spent mana and they didn't. So I think it's just okay, basically.
That's what I think too. It is weird because it averages out to just okay, but it rarely is just okay when you play it. It's either terrible or pretty good. Next is Evil Reawakened. This is the 4 in a black sorcery. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield with 2 additional +1/+1 counters on it. I really like
this one. This one I've just been happy to play in pretty much any deck.
Yeah, this is another of the, adding +1/+1 counters. In this case, you actually get 2 of them. Turns it does. If you put it in your deck, it's going, if it was good enough to make the list, if you Evil Reawakened it, it's going to be good, period. Yeah. 2 rares. One of them is Memories Returning. That's the 2 blue sorcery. Reveal the top 5 cards of your library. Put one of them in your hand, then choose an opponent. They choose one. That card goes on the bottom of the library. Then you put one in your hand, then they choose one to put on the bottom, and then you get the last card. So you get 3 cards out of the deal, and you get to pick the best one of the bunch.
This card's really good. I've had great experiences with it. It is a really good card draw spell. And the flashback is actually pretty legit because when you cast the spell, you usually get 2 lands off it. Usually what happens is you get the best spell. They've been the second best spell. And either you get another spell plus a land or just 2 lands. And that is totally fine. Because
you're not missing land drops at that point. I should have mentioned the flashback is 9. It's 7 blue.
But again, you kind of get there. And the win rate on that card's actually really high. It's like the 4th most winning blue card.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's really powerful. I had a really funny interaction, Luis. The first time that I played against it, I didn't understand the interface. And so when my opponent picked their card, and then I thought that I was going to, I can't remember what I thought, but it was the opposite. I think I thought I was going to have them keep it or get rid of it, whatever. And it was wrong. The one you're picking goes away. So I picked a land. And then I was like, oh, it's still there. I was like, oh man. So now they're going to get the spell out of the deal. And then they screwed it up and picked a land. So I got to nail the spell anyway. I was like, well, this is how it was supposed to go, kind of. Anyway, last card is Astrologian's Planisphere. This is the 1 in a blue job select equipment with equip 2, and equipped creature is a wizard. And whenever you cast a non-creature spell, it gets +1/+1 counter.
Yeah, I like that Planisphere.
And whenever you draw your 3rd card each turn also. Yeah. I really like that card.
I do too. I would still take Memories Returning over it, but I do like it.
Okay. I think I would take Astrologian's Planisphere here, but I did not realize that Memories Returning was performing as well as you just said.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty legit card.
I kind of maybe I don't know, maybe I'm underrating it a little bit, but I feel like if I want card draw, I can get it, combat tutorial and stuff like that. And I don't know, I guess I differentiate between them to a point, but they're kind of just in a bucket for me, where like a card like Astrologian's Planisphere is kind of irreplaceable just as a very powerful 2-drop. So it is
a really good card. I have had a lot of success with the Planisphere where you also just move the equipment once they killed the first thing. And it works out really nicely. Because like you put them in a bind. Let's say you play that card and they play something, you like play a spell and it gets a counter. You play combat tutorial, of course, that's a 4/4. If they kill the creature, you still have the Planisphere in play and you can move it cheaply. It only costs 2. It's a rare,
Right. And that's the key to that card.
Yeah. So you really end up in a spot where it's like it's doing some good work for you.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that they made it so cheap to re-equip and, it goes really well in the best deck, which is blue-red also. Okay. Good. You wanted to talk about some synergies and some narrow cards that you had discovered?
Yeah. So, as we were playing the format more, well, there's 2 lists of cards I want to talk about. One is just cards that had something to say about that have either impressed me or in some form or fashion. But the other is cards that have some cool synergies that I think are worth mentioning, and the way they play out is pretty good. Like we're going to start with Stiltskin Moogle Merchant. That's the 1-mana 1/2 lifelink, where you can give them your cards to draw a card. First of all, just like we said in the set review, if it goes really late, just giving them lands to draw cards is fine. But also, it's really good with the job select. You just get to either give them a 1/1 or give them an equipment, and the equipment stays on your creature till they move it. So sometimes you're like, okay, end of turn, give you my Paladin Arms, and then you're in a position where they have to spend a bunch of mana to move it, and then maybe they don't have it.
That's like forcing somebody to lend money from you or something. That's like you probably want to pay me back, like, oh, that's wild.
Yeah, and then giving them cards that are targeted by removal. It just all the things that we again kind of said the whole time end up being actually good enough. And I've been pretty impressed with how the card has played out. So it's a solid card. I'm not saying it's a bomb, but I'm saying it does actually work. Another card is VNAT, Heart of Hydaelyn. That's the 3-mana 3/3 that when you play a legend, you draw a card. And great card. You could just put this card in your deck and it works fine. But what I specifically wanted to call out 2 cards. One is Lunatic Pandora. That's the 1-mana artifact that scries, or you pay 6 to blow up a permanent.
Is that a legend?
It's a legend. So
whoa.
First of all, I think that card is like reasonable. I don't think it's amazing or anything, but I think it's a playable card. And when you end up in a deck that has VNAT, it's really nice to have a 1-mana legend and immediately get that card.
Oh, for sure. Huh, that's cool.
The other combo is Ambrosia, the Whiteheart Ambrosia, the Chocobo that bounces a thing. The 2-mana 2/2 flash Chocobo. Because A, that's a legend, so you'll draw a card. And B, you can go ahead and bounce one of your other legends and just draw multiple cards off it.
And it can't bounce
not
itself,
in the same turn.
Right?
What's that?
It can't bounce itself, right? Ambrosia.
No.
Yeah.
But, and you only trigger once per turn. So, you do have to kind of, remember that. But for the most part, I think that both cards are good. But, I mean, again, we're just trying to maximize our cards here. And I really prioritize Ambrosia Whiteheart once I have VNAT.
Yeah, I had speaking of the Lunatic Pandora, I had that with is it Miota? What is that card called?
Which one?
The 1/4 that lets you draw when you scry or surveil.
Oh, Matoya,
thank you.
Yeah, that's a combo.
Yeah, I had that little combo going once. Obviously, it was good when it came together, but I did feel that I was playing two bad cards to try to put something together, and so I would not recommend it.
That is generally accurate.
Yeah. What about Whiteheart?
Well, that was just saying Ambrosia Whiteheart or White Orosite is what you're thinking.
Sorry, I see. I got you. Yeah.
Yeah, White Orosite. That's the O-ring that taps for a white. I found it to work really nicely with bounce, like ejecting your own Orosites, especially like if you have a bounce spell, you like play this, nug one of their tokens, and then just bounce your thing later. And I think that works out pretty well.
That's sweet.
It's also worth noting it's not a combo with Ultima. Ultima is the 3 white Wrath end the turn, and it ends the turn, so there's no triggers. But white Auracite, those are not triggers anymore. So if you have a white Auracite in play and you cast Ultima, it'll blow up the Auracite and they'll get their thing back. So
it just happens.
I would certainly play both those cards in my deck still. They're both good cards, but you got to watch out that is a thing that can happen. So either try to wait to play the Auracite till after you Wrath or target a token, or if you have to target something, you can live with them getting back. But Ultima does stop like death triggers and all that sort of thing, but it doesn't stop that because it's not a trigger. It just happens.
Did not know that.
Also, a bonus Ultima combo in Cube. +1 Teferi Time Raveler. And Ultima, in response to them playing something on their turn, ends their turn.
Oh, no way. That's mean.
It's just straight up time stop.
It's time stop plus Wrath. That's cool.
Doesn't even kill Teferi because it doesn't kill Planeswalkers.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Magic Damper, we kind of already talked about that. Matoya, so that's the one you talked about. And yes, generally I don't think this card is good, but I've had a couple decks with it. Well, I had one deck where it was quite good, and then I had two decks where I was really hoping to get one and I never got one. But I think that's useful to think about because it's like, okay, if some of the time I'm hoping to get this card because there's enough cards that work with it, not consistently, I wouldn't first pick it. But that does mean in pack 1, I might spec on it 6th or 7th. Because you've got Dreams of Laguna, you've got the Lunatic Pandora, you've got the Ilmeg Fairy that attacks and scries. Like there are a couple things that actually do work here. So it is worth at least keeping them in mind because it's a powerful card if you can kind of get those combos working.
Okay. What else?
Shambling Sieth, another one, the 3-mana 3/3 that comes back from your graveyard when you play a non-creature. If you play a black mana. I've really liked this in blue-black where you just have tons of discards, some self-mill with like Shinra reinforcements, and you just get the card back. Like if you cast Vane's Betrayal and sack it to give -6/-6, you can immediately pay a black and get it back. It's really good with all the like draw and discard cards, whether, like Lock, the 2/3 or side quest card collection, that sort of thing. So not an amazing card, but I'm just trying to get cards that provide a little bit of additional value. And I found that one certainly does.
Okay. I have not liked it for whatever it's worth.
What's that?
I have not liked it for whatever it's worth.
Very little because I just told you it was good. But
I feel like it does the thing that it says it's going to do, but I'm just so not interested in just a 3/3 that ETB tapped or whatever.
It's not the best, but I've had 2 different blue-black decks that were able to like just discard it a bunch of times over the course of the game. And then eventually you cast it and they don't really want to trade with it. So
that is true.
I'm not advocating you take the card highly, certainly. Speaking of side quest card collection, that is just a really good card. It's actually more like a 4-mana 4/4 flyer that draws you 2 cards. It's not just a sift or whatever.
No.
You just flip it so easily. I have had that card's been fantastic.
I feel like half the time I cast it just flips over. I'm like, oh yeah, cool. Like it just happens on end step. I'm like, oh nice, cool, let's do that.
Yeah, I mean it's just so easy and so free, and a 4/4 crew 1 is a pretty big game,
It is with flying. Yeah, it's nice. What about the final days?
So this one's cool. I've had a couple black-green decks, and these are the ones where you're like black-green, no splash, just straight up trying to cast self-mill and cast final days, make 2 tokens, then flash it back and make like 5 or 6 tokens, and it does work out pretty well, surprisingly well, I'd even say.
Yeah, I played a lot of these in sealed. It's fine. Yeah, it does the thing.
Yeah.
Funny Zodiark you have on the list here. We got to see some Zodiark action at the Pro Tour.
Yeah, the reason I was going to bring it up is me and Sam Pardee and BK all had different experiences where we kind of drafted and had either mono black or near mono black deck because the card is actually quite strong. Like if you cast it, it's really good. It costs quintuple black. Obviously, that's not easy to do, but when you get this card going, I mean, it is a huge game. Like it'll eat a creature or 2 and be like a 7/7 indestructible. Some decks just fold to this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
for sure, yeah, green red can just never beat this.
Yeah, I have been pretty impressed with Zodiark.
Yeah, Jody Keith drafted it and drafted mono black in pod 1 on day 2 at the PT, and at least made it to the finals of the pod, if not won with it. I mean, and it was exactly how you described it. It was because of Zodiark.
Yeah, so I keep it in mind. If you like the way I would, first of all, you can just open it, pick one, pack one, take it, and go mono black. I think that's legit. It's a strong enough card where I think that's reasonable. Second, if you see it like a couple picks in when you're maybe you have 2 black cards and like 1 red card. I think you could consider trying to make that card work. Like the power level is at least there, and that's the most important thing to know about it. I'm not saying put it in your 2-color deck that has a bunch of, that has 10 swamps. Like that's not going to work out great.
Is there any merit to like you open it and say like Vane's Treachery and just take the Treachery and plan on wheeling it?
I don't know. Wheeling it though. I mean, you could still. I think taking Vane's Treachery first pick is not an unreasonable thing, but I don't think I would be confident that this card would wheel.
Okay. What about Sorceress's Schemes?
This card that I've come up a lot on. Sorceress's Schemes the key here is having, the best card in the format with it is Lightning Bolt, because you just cast it off the 1 red. But even like Thunder Magic works pretty well, or Suplex. If you have some cheap spells to replay with it, you get to like use it as a removal spell, but then it flashes back and it gives you a lot of late game gas. Have you ever Sorceress Scheme back the final fight, let the return to fight, whatever, the 2 and a black and get 2 creatures back?
No, I haven't.
That's infinite fight on. There it is. Right. That's infinite grinding right there.
Yeah, that is nasty. I have gotten some card draw spells back with it, and while it's not particularly mana efficient at that point in the game, that's not really the name of the game. And it feels like when you cast the front end of it and you get back like even just a regular card draw spell in a stalemate, it feels like it's kind of over. Because you just have so much stuff to do with your mana over the next 2 to 3 turns. I
mean, look, it's a 2-for-1 by itself, right? But and it's an expensive one, which is why we were initially kind of put off. But if you can get back a 2-for-1 with it, then now it's like a 3-for-1, and there's a lot of good spells to get back. I think overall the card works out pretty well. So you have to have the right deck for it. Again, I'm not saying really put it anywhere except black, red, and blue, red, but I have found the card to be good and worth drafting around.
And then you mentioned side quest card collection. What about Swallowed by Leviathan?
Swallowed by Leviathan is just excellent. It's just a great card.
It's been really good. That's the counter spell, yeah.
Yeah, I have just wanted to note that like this card has been a ridiculously good card. Just Surveil 2 plus counterspell with only single blue is just it's a pretty ridiculous card. And it actually is. It actually has just looked so much better than you would expect it to.
Yeah, it's really, really good. Resentful Revelation, man, it took me a while to get on the train.
Another incredible card.
Yeah, but it has been overperforming. It really shows the difference between like putting cards on the bottom of your library and put them in your graveyard.
Yeah, getting to fill your graveyard with this, and then it's just when you have this card in your graveyard, you feel like, well, at least I'll be able to do that later if we trade off all our cards. And that does happen a lot in this format. I found this format goes to attrition battles reasonably often enough that I've been pretty happy playing it.
Phantom Train?
Phantom Train is another really underrated card, I think. It's again very deck specific. Like I'm not advocating you play Phantom Train in most of your decks, but in the decks where it's good, like Phantom Train really does the job.
It does.
Like, and the Mondo combos, if you have like a cloud that can, or not a cloud, a squall that you can give it double strike with, you just kill them really easily.
What's a squall? What's that?
That's the white black 3/4 when you attack alone gets double strike.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, that thing slams really hard. I found the Phantom Train to be very high leverage. Like if your opponent times their removal or bounce or whatever correctly, you can kind of lose to your own Phantom Train if you're a little reckless with it. But if they don't have anything, it just runs them over quite quickly. So it's kind of one of those like high risk, high reward cards in my mind.
Definitely.
Shinra Reinforcements, the 2/3.
Yeah, this one's grown on me too. Like
same.
I'm not saying this card is amazing, but
no, but you can play it.
The total package of like a 2/3 plus a middle 3 plus a game 3 is like, yeah, this actually is what I want out of a card. I feel pretty good about playing this card.
We both love Call the Mountain, Chocobo.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
That card's great. Triple Triad we talked about. Memories Returning we talked about. What about Instant Ramen?
Oh, this is also one that I found in the decks with like wizard tokens. It actually works out pretty well too.
I have also been playing it a little bit more than I had before.
Yeah, it just I don't know. It kind of just hits them well enough that I feel like it like, or not, it gains you enough life, pings them, draws you a little card. Like, I don't know. It's just reasonable overall. Like,
it's not just enough. Yeah.
It's not a card. It's not a card I thought I would be too happy to play. Like, it'd be like, oh, just a cycling cantrip. You don't usually have room for these, but I played it a little more than I thought I would. And that I think is pretty reasonable.
The other thing is, like, it's good with Vane's Treachery because, you can sacrifice an artifact to that as well. And sometimes it's nice to have something that you already replaced itself that you can sacrifice rather than having to do like a creature or whatever.
Yeah.
And then what about Poo Poo UFO?
I've liked this in the Towns deck. Like, you don't always have the opportunity to play it, but in the Towns deck, I think it actually works out pretty nicely too.
Yeah.
Like it ramps you and then becomes a reasonably sized flyer. So
I just can't with the name, but yeah, it is pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. The name is pretty wild.
Okay. Well, why don't we call it a show there, Luis? We had some fun talking about kind of a whole bunch of different stuff this week, and we've got kind of a cool sign off to get to as well. And I want to make sure
let's do it.
We can do that. So we want to say thank you for listening to the show. We really appreciate it. If you want to find us on social media, I am Marshall_LR, and Luis is LSV. Pretty much everywhere you can find us, everything related to the show at lrcast.com. I want to say thank you to everybody who supports us on Patreon, as well as our sponsor, Ultimate Guard. Thanks for supporting us. We do appreciate it. Okay, that's going to do it for this show. We'll be back with more next week. Okay, Luis. So we got a message from Alex, who works on Arena. You may have heard of Arena. And Alex said, while working on implementing cards for Arena, we fairly often have to poke around and search for pre-existing cards with similar text, which often means accidentally happening upon cards we've never heard of before. One of us has been has taken to posting these cards in a Teams thread, that's like a corporate chat thread, and everyone else votes thumbs up or thumbs down based on whether they knew what the card does. And noting the similarity between Let's Stump Vargas, which we do on the show sometimes for for our sign-offs, he sent in a few that we get to do here. So basically, we're going to put you, Luis, up against the Arena dev team. And the way this is going to work is I'm going to get to show you, I'm going to read the card name because that is part of the information that you get. If you're listening only, you will get to know the card name. If you're watching, I'll read the card name and the mana cost. If you're watching on YouTube, you will also get to see the card art, and Luis will as well. And then we're going to test Luis to see how many of these he knows the text of the rules text for. And then we're going to put him up against the Arena dev team and see how they did compared to him. Okay, you ready, Luis?
Let's do it.
What's your confidence level here?
I think I'm going to do pretty well, but I'm not going to get all these for sure.
Okay. First one up, Summary Judgment. It is 1 and a white. That's the information that Luis has. He also has the artwork in front of him.
Yeah, so this is like, I think it deals 3 to a tapped creature and deals 5 if you meet some condition, but I don't remember what the condition is.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Why don't you take a guess at the condition?
Oh, sorry. You can play. It's like maybe if you've played another instant this turn, I think.
No, that's not it. You are correct about there being a condition. It's actually a fairly simple one. It is if you cast it during your main phase.
Oh, I see.
So let's see. So 6 of the devs got that one right, and 4 did not know that one. Okay, next is Sculptor of Winter.
Oh, this is easy. This is you tap
it's 1
this.
And a green.
Yeah, it's 1 and a green. It's a 2/2 tapped, untapped target, snow permanent.
Yeah, it's snow land, but yes, you are getting credit for that. Do you know its power and toughness? Did you say that?
2/2.
Yeah, you got it. All right, so you got 1 out of 1. I'm the arbiter on whether he gets it right. He doesn't. I'm not going to hold him to like literally every word, but he has to know the basics. Next is Hulking Raptor. This is 2 green is the cost on it.
This is a Enrage. It's a 4/5, and when it takes damage, you draw a card. I think. Wait, hold on. No, that's a different one I'm thinking of. Hold on. Let me look at closer.
You also, I will note that Luis is being thrown a curveball here. For those of you that are watching visually, you can see
this one has like weird art.
It actually, this is an alternate art version. And
no, this is the 5/3 Ward 2 at the beginning of your main phase add green. I think.
Yes, that is correct.
I got confused with the other one.
Yeah. The reason that you might think, well, why are you doing an alternate art? These are the same things that the dev team had to figure out. There was only 4 votes on that, and they split them. So you beat them there. Next, I guess I shouldn't say anything, but Adventurers Guild House.
This is it's a land from Legends. Your green legends have bands with others.
Yes, that is right. Let's see. The original text is all your green legends gains bands with other legends. The current text is green legendary creatures you control have, quote, bands with other legendary creatures, and then a huge block of reminder text about what banding is. Nice job, Luis. That's right in your wheelhouse, like the old cards, but still. Oh man, I hope you don't screw this one up.
Oh, I'm not going to. Next is Murder of Crows. That's the 3 blue 4/4 flying. Whenever a creature dies, you can loot. You can draw a card and discard a card.
Yep, that is correct. Nice job. You're 4-1 right now. Oh, and by the way, Adventurers Guildhouse, the devs also split 3-3. And on Murder of Crows, they did get it right in majority, but it was a 3-2. So a few people knew what it was. Wow, I feel like I recognize the artwork on this one, but I don't know what it is. This is Monumental Henge.
Yeah, so this is a land, and I want to say
I know what this is now. Yeah, I would not have gotten this.
2 white, tap, sack, look at your top 5 cards, put an artifact or enchantment into your hand.
Oh, that is so close.
Is that not it?
It is not it. Well, no. So the only thing you miss, and if you correct it, then you'll get it. It's not artifact or enchantment, though artifact is one of the types you can get.
Oh, is it artifact or creature?
Certain types of creatures. It is a subset of, I guess, cards here that had a certain name in this set. This one is from Modern Horizons 3.
I don't remember what the types were for that.
Do you remember what it was called? The subset of cards?
No.
This came out in Dominaria.
Is it allies? No.
It's historic.
Oh, historic. Sure. Now I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but you had it right. So it's taps for white. It ATB's tapped unless you have a plains, and you can pay exactly what you said. 2 white tap. Look at the top 5 and reveal a historic card from among them. Put it in your hand. That was really close. Wow. The dev team. No, this is switched. They did not get this one. 2 people got it right. 4 wrong. Okay. Next one. Corpse Cobble. It's blue-black.
Yeah, this is like make a 2/2 with flashback 3 blue-black.
Let's see.
And it does something.
You're close. Yes, it is flashback 3 blue-black, and it does make a creature, but it's not a 2/2. And I'm going to give you a hint. There's an additional cost to cast the spell. And that has to do with the creature as well.
Exile a creature from your graveyard, and it makes an XX or something like that.
You're close. It's sacrifice any number of creatures, and then you get an XX blue and black zombie with menace, where X is the total power of the sacrificed creatures. Wow, that was really hard. And predictably, the dev team did not get that one right either. 4 did not know, and 2 did. Next is Kosi's Trickster, which costs blue.
It's a 1/1. It has morph, and when you unmorph it, I think you tap or untap target permanent. No. That's a different card. This is 1 mana 1/1, and when your opponent shuffles your library, I think they get a +1/+1 counter.
Okay, I'm looking it up because I remember the card, but I don't remember what it does at all. This is really hard, by the way. If you want to test yourself on this, just try it with once you see it, you're like, oh yeah, I remember that card, but it's really hard to come out. Okay, so you said it's a 1 mana 1/1?
Yeah, and I think it's when your opponent shuffles their library, you draw a card. It gets a +1/+1 counter.
That is exactly correct. Very well done. This is going back. This is Zendikar. And by the way, that was the only time that was ever printed. So that was one you just had to pull out with no... You couldn't even go, oh, that was in a master set. And by the way, the dev team really failed at that one. 6 people got that one wrong and 3 got it right. Next is Blood Rock Cyclops, which is costs 2 and a red.
I think this is a
don't know what this is.
3/3 that can't.
Oh, there's a reason I don't know what this is.
But I don't remember.
Oh, interesting. I'm going to give you a hint because the artwork that we see is not there. This is actually
this is a card from Visions. It's a 3-mana 3/3, and I think maybe it can't attack alone. Or
you're close.
It can't block, something like that.
You're really keep going. Keep workshopping. It's a 3-mana 3/3, yes. And it says Bloodrock Cyclops attacks.
Oh, Fable. I see. Yes.
I'm giving you that one. That's freaking Weatherlight.
Also, using the art that's not the original art is wild.
That is wild. Do you know what that's from? Jumpstart. No, the artwork that you're being shown here from Jumpstart. That is like ultra hard. 5 devs got that wrong and 2 remembered it. Really, devs? 2 of you knew that was what that did? That is impressive. Next is Fate Transfer, which costs 1 and a blue-black hybrid.
This, I believe, is an instance from like Shadowmoor, and it like moves all the counters from one creature to another.
That is exactly correct. God dang, that was good, dude. That's a random unplayable common, and they never printed it again. And as you might think, 7 devs didn't know what that was, and 2 did. These 2 that just know everything are really crushing it. All right, next one, Lunar Mystic.
Oh, this is from one of the sets I don't know that well. I don't know what this card does. I don't even have a guess.
Okay, this is from Avacyn Restored, if it helps. It's a rare, though. Really. Okay, this is 2 blue for a 2/2 human wizard. Whenever you cast an instant spell, you may pay 1. If you do, draw a card. Well, okay. I played that set, and I am completely unaware of that card. 13 people did not know what that was on the dev team. Next is Selvalla's Stampede, which is 4 red. What is this even?
I don't know what this card is at all. I'm looking at it. I'm just like,
I don't know this card either.
It's 4 green, but yeah, I don't know what this one.
Oh, okay. This is why it's from Conspiracy.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't know what Kiora Sovereign of the Deep is either. This looks like a fake card.
Okay, hold on. I'm keeping track of your score here now. You hold on a second. Let's see. On Selvalla's Stampede, 4 people did not know and 1 person knew, so that makes sense. Kiora. What is this card? Sovereign of the Deep. It's 3 blue-green. Yeah, this is a fake card too. It's from March of the Machine, The Aftermath. I don't even know what that is. I guess technically you didn't get that right, but that's like impossible. 7 people got that wrong. Nobody got it right. 2 more
Machine
cards.
God's Effigy. I don't know either. I have seen that card before, but I really don't remember it.
I don't even know what these are from. I'm going to look this one up too. Machine God's Effigy is from the Brothers War Commander. Do you want to know what it does? Who cares? Let's see. It's 4 mana for an artifact. It taps for blue. You may have it enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it's an artifact that has tap for blue. It's a clone that also is a mana rock. Okay, your last card.
They put I've been a crushing disappointment because I don't know what this card is either. It looks like a draw 2, lose 2 of some kind, but
I am going to give you credit for that. It is 3 and a black for an instant. It's from Strixhaven. Each player loses 2 life. You draw 2 cards.
Okay.
So I am giving you credit. And you finished. Wow, you did really good, man. You finished 7 and 7, which that so especially bad. Given that, like, I mean, impossible is a strong word, but like these ones that were never printed in any product we've ever touched, like I don't know how you could possibly get Selvalla's Stampede, Kiora. Like these are just not, they're not in Cube. They're just not in things that we play ever. So you did pretty good, man. Nice job. That was extremely, don't you think that was really hard?
Yeah. These are tough. Some of these cards are really, really difficult to figure out.
So by the way, the last 4 we did, none of the devs knew any of them. They bricked on
that
all.
Makes sense. They're all from like kind of weird sets, you know?
Yeah, Crushing Disappointment is 10 people didn't know what that did. That's a common from, 2 years ago or whatever?
Strixhaven was not 2 years ago, dude.
4 years ago? Oh my God. How long? 4 years?
I think it was like 5 years ago.
5 years ago. Oh my God. All right. Well, now that I feel sufficiently old, we can call it a show.